All right, fam. So, all right, so let's start with the threes. All right, so we got this three right here, right? You see the wick up here. At one point, you see it's red, right? But at one point, we know that it was green because of that wick. So at one point, this was a two up, right? It was green up here. It broke this high, so this was a two up. But then I don't know, something happened at some point. It started coming back down, right? Started coming back down. It's still a two up at this, even though it's coming back down, it's still a two up. It's a red two up right now because here's where it opened and it started to come back down. So it's already red. So red two up. So boom, we're watching it. Once it gets to like right there, which is kind of like the middle range of the previous bar, once it gets to like right here, you're like, damn, okay, this two could potentially go three because we broke the high, but if it failed and we're coming back down, we're about the 50, like about a half 50% retracement of the previous bar. So that's where you would take the entry on this three. It came up, it was a two up, but then it failed. Started coming back down, started coming back down, started coming back down. At right here, around half of the previous bar, that's where we would enter with thinking, okay, this two is gonna go three. It's gonna keep going down and it's gonna break the low of the previous candle, which it did. That's how you play the three. At one point, it's gonna be a two up. Once it starts fading, coming back down, and it's at about 50% of the previous candle, that's where you're gonna take your entry. So we would have entered here. We would have entered like around here, right? Boom, wrote it down, wrote it down, wrote it down. When it broke the low of this candle, we could have took profits. Would have been a successful trade. Same thing over here. We had one in September. This is a monthly chart, so each bar is a month. September, we had a one bar rev strat to the downside, which is a at one point. Let me see what's the high on this. 453.07, and the high on this is 454.05. So 453 and okay, yeah. So at one point, again, this monthly candle was a green monthly two up, right? Because the high, see that little wick right there, that high is 454.05. The high on this one is 453.07. So it broke above it by about a dollar move. It was a two up on like a dollar move, but then boom, started coming back down, started coming back down. Right here, we're at about 50% of the previous bar's range, right? So we enter here, like, okay, this two is gonna go three. Would enter around, let's say we would have entered like at 445. So we would have about puts at 445, and the target would have been the low of this, so 436. So we would have entered at 445, knowing okay, this two is going red, possibly could go three now. So we enter here, starts coming down, boom, boom, and you get the three. That's how you play the threes. Let me find a green one. That's a red three, right? All right, so boom, this green three. Same thing, just vice versa. You get me? At one point, this was a two down, a red two down, right? Because it broke this low over here. So at one point, this was a red two down. We know that because of the wick. But then it started coming back up, started bouncing, started coming back up, started coming back up. All right, so at that point, we're at about 50% retracement of this candle, right? So now we would enter on cause, thinking, okay, this two down bounce, it could possibly go three up or one bar red strat to the upside. So we would enter there. The target would be the high of this candle, which is 302.63. We would have entered around 295 around there, and we would have rolled it back up all the way up. It ended up going 304.55. So yeah, then we got another red three, another green three here. Same thing. At one point, it was a red two down. Started coming back up. Started coming back up. When it gets to around this point right here, we take the entry on the cause, expecting this to be a three up. And it goes, I'm sorry, not a three up, because a three takes out both sides. But we take an entry expecting this to become a three, right? At this point, when the candle is here, it's green, but it's still not a three because it still hasn't taken out this high. It's still a two down because we took out the low. So at this point, we enter thinking, okay, this two down is gonna go three. Boom, we take the entry and boom, it broke the high of the previous candle. Success. You get me? Same thing with this one. came all the way down, broke the low of this candle. It was a red 2 down at that point. Started coming back up, started coming back up, started coming back up. Around right there, okay, this 2 is gonna go 3. Let me enter some calls. What's the target? The target is the high of this candle, right? So if you look up here, it tells you the high. So the high of that candle is 302.63. So that would have been our target. We would have entered here around 294, 295, around there, expecting it to go 3. Our target would have been the high of the candle, and boom, we got it. This 2 down went 3. This 2 down went 3. This one again, this was a 2 up at one point. I'm just going over it with you again so you can get it clear, my nigga, So yeah, this 3 was a 2 up at one point. We know because of this wick. But once it starts fading, starts coming back down, starts coming back down, starts coming back down, we were like, damn, okay, this 2 could go 3. We take a position on puts. What's the target? The low of this candle, because we're expecting it to break that low, right? So we base our target more or less off that. So I mean, it really wouldn't be the target because we're expecting to break that low, right? So that's just what we're aiming for, to break that low. So this was a green 2 up, starts failing, starts coming down, starts coming down. We take an entry here, expecting it to go 3 and breaking the low of this previous candle. Boom, you can see whatever it did break it, but then it ended up coming back up and it closed up here. But this is still a 3 because we took out both sides of the previous candle. So okay, this is the video on the 3s. I'm gonna send you one on the 2s. I will just do it all together. Fuck it. All right, so for the 2s, trying to find a 2 up and a 2 down. Because the thing is, you could have a red 2 up. Like, okay, like right here, perfect. This is a red, but it's a 2 up because we took out the previous high. You get me? And then this is a, where's the, I'm find a green 2 down. Hold on, I'm trying to find a green 2 down. Damn, kind of hard to find a green 2 down on Spile. This shit does just go up. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing any. No, right here. It's the low 2676. Okay. Okay, all right, so I found one over here. We got a Coño lo perdí. Which one was it? I was trying to find a red 2 up. No, I'm tripping. I'm trying to find a green. Whatever. All right. All right. So let's restart with the 2s. So what the 2s does is either breaks the high of the previous candle, or it's gonna be a 2 down and break the low of the previous candle. I'm trying to find a 2 down. Oh, I don't see one. 2 that takes out the low. Hold on, man. Cool. All right, yeah. So this is a 2 down. Broke the low of this candle. You got the 2 down here. The way you play the 2s, I mean, the 2s are directional. It's the 2s are like trends. You get me? The 2s are breaking highs and breaking lows. That's it. The 2 breaks a high or it breaks a low. That's what the 2 does. We went over the 3 already, how to play the 3. I'm do how you. All right. So in order for me to explain how to play the 2, let's go to the 1. All right. So we got a 2, 1, 2 reversal, right? We got a red 2 down. We got a 1 inside bar. It doesn't take out the high or the low of this candle, right? So we got an inside bar. We got a 2-1 on the monthly. So let's say this is what the chart's looking like. So this right here, but okay, I'm watching this possible 2-1-2 reversal, right? And then here you had a 2-1-2 to the downside. You had a 2-2 reversal. You had a 2 up. broke this high, right? Two up, and then you had a two down, reverse. Well, this is called a two-two rev. If you see a type rev, it's for reversal. So this is a two-two rev to the downside. You got a two up and a two down. Boom. Takes out this low, brings it back down. Then we get a one inside of this. Okay, we can go long here, we can go short here. What ended up happening? And ended up breaking this low. So we would have gone short here. Would have gone short at 263.07. That's the low of this candle. The target would have been this low over here. And whatever, ended up taking that out. But all right, so now we got a 2-1 again here, right? We got a 2 and a 1. Set the 2 up, boom. We're gonna go long if it breaks that. We're gonna go short if it breaks that, right? So yeah, we're gonna buy calls if it break 270.47, and we're gonna buy puts if it breaks 243.67. Right, boom. So as soon as this starts breaking, the 270.47, we enter on some calls. This is a target. This is a target right here. The high is a target right here. The high of this could be a target, and the high of this would be the ultimate target, which it ended up taking out. So that's how you play the twos. Well, my bad. That's how you play the ones, right? You play the break to the upside or the break to the downside. The twos, you kind of could do the same thing, right? On the twos, when you got a two up, you take it. You play the two up or the two down. That's what. All right. So on the twos, we're playing the break of the previous candle. Hold on. Shit, my mouse is fucking. What you? So with this shit, man. All right. So yeah, the twos we're playing the break of a high. So it broke this high. We would go long here. This is a two up. So we would be entering on a two up over whatever this high is. And let's say we want to play a two. Let's go back to this one over here for this other example. Bro, this shit's pissing me off. Right here. So okay, so the two that I showed you, I just went through how we play the two up. When it breaks the high of the previous candle, that's a two up. So we enter there on that break of, we enter on that two up. Same thing with a two down. When you got a two down, you enter on the break of the previous low. So on the twos, basically what we're doing is we're entering on the break of the previous candle. You get me? It could be a one, it could be a three. Doesn't matter because twos, like I said, twos are directions. Twos take out one side or the other. A two either takes out the top or is gonna take out the bottom. That's where we enter because that tells us the direction. You get me? Like here, boom, it broke the low. What's that telling us? It's telling us this directional to the downside. So that's why we enter with puts. If it breaks to the upside, how it did here, that's directional, telling us we're going up. So we buy calls. So that's how we play the twos. On the twos, two up or two down, we're entering on the break. The one, we don't play the ones. We don't trade ones. Let's say I got this two, and this month just started, right? And the candle, okay, so this is a green one. So boom, we got this two. The month starts here, right? We're still inside. And let's say it gets here, it still doesn't mean anything because it's still a one. We don't trade ones. We play the break of the ones. You don't want to be in a one. Today I took a loss on SPY for that same reason. I don't know if you was in the oh no, what the hell did I just do? Hold on. I just okay, yeah. Took out my indicator by mistake. So yeah, that's why I took a loss on SPY today. I was trying to trade this over here. I was trying to trade like a bounce here or something, but we're inside these two bars right here. I mean, just this one right here. We're inside this. So all of this is a one. on a bigger time frame. You get me? We don't want to play that. We don't want to be caught in that. Yeah, at this here, you see it broke below this, right? So here we were out of that, but then we came right back in, and that's when I tried playing it. That's why I took 2 losses on Spider Day. They were small losses. I think one was like what, I took a 30% loss, but the contracts were cheap, so it was really like a $20 loss. And then the other one was like a 17%. They were small losses, but yeah, like I said, see, we're inside. Right, it's actually this. It's actually that. So we're actually inside. Look at the 2 hour. We're stuck. All of this is stuck between this right here, this big bar right here. So when we're inside a shit like that, we don't trade it. You're gonna take losses. It's choppiness, a lot of nothing going on, just sideways movement. No, there's no direction until we break above this or break below this. Probably not gonna trade SPY tomorrow, unless if we get another one, a nice little move how we got today, this 3-2 to the downside. But yeah. So all right, so we went over the ones, right? The inside bars. We don't trade when let's say today is a one. We don't want to be buying today. We wait for tomorrow to see if we're gonna get a two. Wait for tomorrow to see what the next two is gonna be. If we're gonna break up or break down. You get me? So that's the one. On the twos, we're playing the direction, right? On the twos, two up, we're entering on the how do I say this? When it becomes a two up is when we enter, right? Because for it to become a two up, it has to break the high, right? So when it opened here, it's a one. It hasn't taken out the high or the low yet. But now that it breaks the high, now it's a two up, directional. That's where we enter when it breaks the previous high or the previous low. We do that, yeah, on twos. So pretty much we enter, pretty much you're gonna notice we're gonna be entering on twos. We either take entries on our twos, we never enter on a one. So if this is a one, we don't enter till the next candle comes. Another one, we don't enter. All right, this candle, we gap down here. So we would have took an entry on the break of this, but we had no chance because it gapped down. It opened and it gapped down. Came up a little bit and we started fading, fading, fading. At that point, you drop to a lower time frame. You go to a 30-minute, 15-minute, and you look for and the hour, you look for a setup in that time frame. But the important thing is we don't enter on this one. So on this day, we're not entering. On this one over here, we're not entering, right? When are we entering? On this day right here. On this two, venga. On this day, this is when we're entering. When this two broke this one, and we actually traded it this day. That was Thursday. That was the 100% SPY puts we did. Oh no, that's when we played. That's the day we played Apple for 107%. Apple had the same setup. It had a 2-1-2. So yeah, on the ones we don't enter. We're gonna enter on twos. On when it's confirmed a two up or a two down, that's when we enter. Or on the threes, how I explained before, right? So at one point, this candle started and it went on. All right, so at one point, this candle opened here, right? It was a two down, came all the way down. At this point, that's a two down. That's a 2-2 reversal to the downside, right? But then we see it starts coming back up, starts being bought back up, starts being bought back up, starts being bought back up. Boom, right there. This is a small candle, so it's tricky there, right? But you get the idea. We're about 0.5% of that. So we enter long. Okay, this two down is gonna go three. You enter there, took out the high, boom, success. So that's how we trade the threes. We get in when a three before it becomes a three, it's either going to be a two up or it's going to be a two down, right? But then it starts failing. It starts going in the opposite direction. That's when we keep an eye on it. When it gets to about half of the previous bar, that's when we enter, right? Expecting for it to keep going and take out that other side now. That's how we play the threes. The ones, we don't play the ones. We don't enter on ones. We enter on twos, right? When it's confirmed that it's a two up or a two down. that's when we enter. So yeah, bro, let me know if there's any other questions, any other whatever, let me know. I'm gonna make another video now for the watch list and I'm gonna post it. From now on, I'm gonna start making videos for the watch list now that I know how to make it and shit. But yeah, let me know if you got any questions on it.